The ICU was a world suspended between life and silence, where every breath was borrowed and every second announced itself through the steady, glowing pulse of machines, and on that night, beneath the clean white lights and the soft hum of advanced monitors, lay a man who owned half the city yet could not lift a finger to prove it, his bare chest rising faintly under a white sheet, light stubble framing a face that once dominated boardrooms and headlines, now motionless except for the fragile rhythm traced in green and blue behind him, while beside his bed stood and four drip like a quiet sentry, delivering hope drop by drop. No one in the hospital knew that this unconscious patient was Zion Karim, a billionaire industrialist who had chosen anonymity even in his most powerful days, and certainly now, as his body rested helpless and his mind drifted in a place no monitor could measure. But standing on the other side of the room, calm yet burdened by thoughts she never spoke aloud, was Dr. Alina Rahman, her white coat pristine, light blue scrubs a soft contrast against the sterile walls, her stethoscope hanging like a symbol of responsibility she carried not just on her shoulders but in her heart, because this patient was different, not because of wealth, she didn't know that yet, but because of the silence he carried, a silence that listened. Alina had been assigned to him weeks ago after a mysterious accident left him in a deep coma, and in those weeks she spoke to him during late shifts when the hospital slept, telling him about her long nights, her struggle to keep compassion alive in a system obsessed with speed and profit, how she had lost her father to a hospital that cared more about insurance than humanity, and how sometimes she wondered if goodness even mattered anymore, never imagining that behind closed eyes, Zion heard every word, trapped in darkness yet awake enough to feel the truth in her voice, the pain, the honesty, the rare kindness that cut through his past like light through fog. As days passed, Alina became his constant, adjusting his medication, watching the monitors, and sometimes just standing there, her reflection faintly visible on the glossy screen of his heart rate display, unaware that the men who had once signed papers that decided the fate of thousands now clung to her words like lifelines, replaying them again and again in the prison of his own body. And the night everything changed was no different at first, rain tapping softly against the hospital windows, the ICU glowing in its usual artificial dawn, until Alina, exhausted and emotionally raw, whispered a confession she had never dared say out loud, that she was tired of being invisible, tired of giving everything and receiving nothing, tired of watching powerful people escape consequences while good people suffered, admitting that if miracles were real, she hoped this patient would wake up and prove that kindness could still win in a cruel world. Something stirred then, not on the monitors but deep within Zion, a surge of will stronger than any contract he had ever signed, and though his body did not move, his heart responded, the beeping quickening just enough for Alina to notice, her eyes narrowing as professional instinct replaced fatigue, her hand steady as she leaned closer, calling his name softly for the first time, unaware that it was the first time anyone had spoken it in weeks, and in that moment, between the steady glow of machines and the quiet strength of a woman who refused to give up, fate shifted. Days later, when Zion finally opened his eyes, the world would never be the same, because he would remember everything, every word, every tear, every confession, and the first face he would see would not be a nurse rushing in or a monitor flashing alarms, but Alina's calm, stunned expression, reflected in his awakening gaze, marking the beginning of a reckoning that would expose secrets, reward integrity, and remind everyone watching that true power is not measured by wealth or status, but by the courage to care when no one is watching. And if this story moved you, inspired you, or made you believe again in quiet miracles and hidden truths, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because more powerful stories like this are waiting to be told, and your support helps keep them alive.